My beloved child, stop everything and listen with your whole heart. This is not a whisper or a gentle nudge, this is a seismic shift. Something irreversible has been unleashed. The heavens held steady, the earth remained still. But make no mistake, the gates of judgment have been flung wide open by my unshakable hand. No power in heaven, on earth, or beneath the shadows can slam them shut again. This is no idle threat. This is not a pause or a second chance. This is the moment of absolute reckoning, final, fierce, and unstoppable. Prepare yourself, for what comes next will change everything. Someone dangerously close to you has crossed a divine line, one drawn not by human hands, but carved by mine, says the Lord. This line wasn't casual, it wasn't soft, it was sacred. And they didn't just stumble across it, they stepped over it, knowingly, deliberately, without fear, without shame. You've felt the disturbance in your spirit, haven't you? That sickening stillness behind their carefully crafted words. That invisible weight hanging in the room after they smiled. That shadow that crept in, even when everything seemed normal. It wasn't paranoia, it was discernment. And now, I must show you why I, the Lord your God, have stepped in without delay, without apology, and without turning back. I am not acting out of anger. I am not moved by vengeance. I am not unleashing wrath for wrath's sake. I am a God of justice, but I am also the God of mercy, the God of patience, the God who waits longer than human minds can comprehend. I have waited. I have watched. I have held back the storm longer than you'll ever know. I gave them chances. I opened the door of repentance again and again. I whispered truth in their ears in the stillness of night. I stirred their conscience. I even allowed things to shake in their world, hoping they would wake up and turn. But they didn't. They ignored the signs. They hardened their heart. They silenced conviction and rejected mercy. They mistook my silence for approval. They thought delay meant permission. But I am not a God who can be manipulated. I am not mocked. I am not blind. And I do not forget. Now, what was hidden in shadows is being ripped into the light, not to shame, but to reveal. Not for gossip, but for clarity. Because you need to know. You deserve to see the truth about what's been circling your life, draining your spirit, and infecting your peace. This person, the one you trusted, leaned on, maybe even loved, didn't just make a mistake. They chose the darkness. Again and again. They didn't fall, they dug. They manipulated with intention. They spoke sweet while poisoning your spirit. They smiled while stabbing in secret. They weren't confused, they were calculated. They weren't broken, they were cunning. They covered their betrayal with closeness. They used your loyalty like a mask to hide their wickedness. All the while, they assumed I was absent. That I wouldn't act, that I'd look the other way forever. But I am not a passive God. My eyes search every heart. My spirit sees every motive. And my hand now moves with precision. The judgment you see unfolding, it isn't chaos. It's clarity. It's not rage. It's righteousness. Their hour has come, not because you demanded it, but because I decreed it. I watched them walk down a road paved with their own choices, choices to deceive, to control, to harm, and they never looked back. They turned away from conviction. They mocked my patience. They treated your compassion like weakness. While you prayed for peace, they plotted control. While you cried for healing, they sowed chaos. This isn't about one wound. This is about a life that refused the light. A heart that rejected the truth, a soul that made rebellion their home. But listen to me closely now, do not be afraid. This exposure, this unveiling, this shaking, it's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to free you. What you've lost in confusion, I'm restoring in clarity. What the enemy buried under layers of lies, I'm now bringing into the open. You're not crazy. You weren't imagining it. The unease, the tears, the spiritual exhaustion, it was all real. And I saw it. Every moment, every silent cry. I've been recording every act of manipulation, every lie spoken behind your back, every ounce of pressure they used to keep you silent, to make you question your reality, to make you doubt your worth. And now, I am lifting the veil. You will see clearly. You will walk safely. You will no longer be deceived by the ones who looked kind but moved with darkness. What I am about to show you will shift how you see everything, yourself, your relationships, your future. So breathe. Stay close to me. Give me these next few moments. Don't run. Don't hide. Let me speak. Because I'm not just exposing their actions, I'm confirming your instincts. I'm anchoring your spirit in the truth that I've been with you all along. Justice has arrived, not in a whirlwind of wrath, but in the still, exacting fire of my righteousness. The shadows that clung to you, that whispered lies and drained your light, they're being cast out. Expelled, destroyed, not by your hand, but by mine, by my word, by my fire. And when I move completely. Stay with me. Let's begin this journey together. Before I reveal who this person truly is and why their judgment has been sealed, I need to speak directly to what's stirring inside your heart. You may be wrestling with doubt, wondering if I, your Father in heaven, am acting too harshly. You might ask, did you close the door too fast? Should there have been one last chance? Listen carefully, beloved, this decision did not come from impulse or anger. It is forged in unwavering truth, tested and proven through time. I did not turn away from them without cause. No, I bent time itself for their sake. I stretched moments into years. I delayed justice longer than you could imagine. I held back consequences again and again, carving out space for their repentance. I sent signs, bold, unmistakable signs. I planted conviction deep in their spirit. I whispered warnings in the silence of night. I even shook their foundations, hoping they'd wake, hoping they'd turn back from the edge. But they did not miss these signs. They were not deaf to my voice. Every message, every plea reached them, and still, they chose to reject me. Intentionally, willfully, repeatedly. They saw the path I offered, but they turned away. They recognized my outstretched hand, and slapped it away with pride and rebellion. This isn't about a slip, a moment of weakness, or a mistake. This is about a heart that hardened itself, wrapped tightly in pride, deception, and a ruthless hunger for control. They crossed sacred thresholds, not out of ignorance but out of defiance. And because they refused to leave the darkness, they will now be swallowed by it. The gates of hell did not open because I am cruel. They opened because this person demanded it. Every unrepented sin, every lie, every calculated step tore down the walls of mercy. They called down judgment on themselves, and now it is time. Now, I will show you who they really are. Not who they pretended to be, not who you hoped they were, but who they revealed themselves to be when no one was watching, except me. Hear this well, this person is not a distant stranger. They are dangerously close. They have shared your breath, walked your halls, invaded your sacred spaces, and poisoned them. They smiled in your face while plotting your downfall. They wore a mask of support but cheered secretly for your struggles. They weaponized their proximity. They twisted your kindness. They mimicked love while spreading decay. And all the while, they assumed I was silent, that my patience was weakness, my mercy a license for their destruction. But I am rising now, not with words, but with action. No more warnings. This is divine intervention in full force. This person didn't stumble, they built a kingdom of lies. They didn't falter, they ran headlong into destruction, dragging others down with them. Their reach has stretched toward you, and this is where I draw the line. You are my beloved. I will not allow the destroyer to sit at your table 1 second longer. I did not bring you through fire, loss, and tears to watch the enemy sabotage your destiny. I have watched, I have waited, and now, I have spoken. The season of warnings is over. The season of reckoning has begun. No, this is not vengeance, it is justice. It is the inevitable result of choice after choice. The final echo of a heart that refused to bow. While you may still carry sorrow for what was, I need you to hold fast to strength for what comes next. When I, your God, move to end the reign of a deceiver, everything changes. Masks fall away. The truth is revealed. The atmosphere shifts. And you, my child, walk forward freer, wiser, and protected. The truth is hard, yes, but it is holy. And now we step together into the next chapter. Let the unveiling begin. You have seen my mercy in action, felt the shelter of my grace, the tender pull of my hand saving you from cliffs you never saw coming. You have tasted the sweetness of my patience, watched me cover sins just to give more time, more hope, more chances. I am the God who waits, the one who speaks gently and defends silently. But now, my beloved, you will witness another side of me. One just as holy, just as true. You are about to see my justice. Because I am not only the God who waits, I am the God who moves, the God who guards, the God who draws a line in the sand and says, no more. That line has been crossed, again, and again, and again. The person I reveal to you was given every chance to change. They were not ignored. They were not left to wander in darkness without my hand reaching for them. I whispered truth into the deepest corners of their soul when the world had gone quiet. I softened their path when they deserved hardness. I gave them time, years of time, not measured in days or hours, but divine pauses, reroutes, and interventions. I placed open doors before them, bridges they didn't earn, chances they didn't deserve. And still, they set fire to every single one. Hear me clearly now. What is about to happen is not cruelty, it is protection. It is not vengeance, it is justice. You have carried the weight of their darkness for too long. You wrestled with guilt that was never yours to bear. You lost sleep over their choices. You questioned your own worth because of their inability to love, to change, to grow. And I have watched. I have waited. I have given more mercy than they ever acknowledged. But I will not wait another moment while they continue to feed on your peace, drain your joy, and manipulate the light I placed within you. This ends now, not because you asked for revenge, but because I love you too fiercely to let it go on. This is the turning point, the moment when the scales fall from your eyes and the chains break. The moment when your spirit rises, strong and unshakable, because justice has arrived. Stay close. Hold fast. The battle has been won, and your freedom begins here. When I move, I don't move in chaos, I move with precision. With clarity. With fire that doesn't burn buildings but burns through lies. My movement does not come wrapped in noise or theatrics. There won't be thunder cracking across the sky. No lightning bolts to shake the earth. No flames to capture attention. That's not how I bring justice. I come quietly. I come suddenly. And when I move, everything that was built on deceit crumbles, swiftly, silently, completely. I don't need to make a show. My truth does the work. Everything they built, the masks, the fake identities, the emotional traps, the carefully crafted lies, it will collapse. Not with drama, but with divine finality. One moment, they'll stand tall in pride, convinced they still hold the upper hand. The next moment, they'll find themselves stripped, exposed, undone. Every illusion they clung to will scatter like ash in the wind. And I need you to hear this in your spirit. I am not doing this because I hate them. I do not move in hatred. But I will never allow the one who chooses darkness to destroy the light I planted inside you. This is not revenge, it is rescue. This is not wrath, it is protection. You cried out to me. You asked me to deliver you. You pleaded for peace, begged for confirmation, longed for clarity. And now I'm answering you. But not in subtle hints. Not in whispers. I'm stepping in boldly, as your defender, as your father, as the author of justice. This time, they won't escape. There will be no loophole, no excuse, no clever exit. They are out of time. Everything they hid, I'm dragging it into the light. Everything they whispered in shadows, I'm exposing. Every manipulation, every secret thread they tried to control, I'm cutting it clean. Their influence is breaking. Their reach is ending. Their grip on your soul, on the people around you, is being shattered by my hand. I am not delaying. I am not hesitating. This is divine interruption. For it is written, and I do not lie, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. And now, they fall. Not because you asked me to destroy them. Not because they offended you. But because I judged it right. Because I love you. Because I have waited long enough. This is the final chapter. I'm not asking anyone else to write it. My hand holds the pen. My justice seals the scroll. My love for you demands that this part must end, so something holy, something new, can finally begin. The door behind you is closing. Loud, final, permanent. It echoes with everything I have just ended. Do not look back. That chapter is over. The confusion, the betrayal, the heaviness you carried without words, it's finished. I slammed that door with force so you'd never again be tempted to open it. You won't go back to what I've destroyed. Now listen as the silence settles. In that silence, I'm opening something sacred. Not in storm, but in stillness. Not in chaos, but in clarity. Not in fear, but in holy reverence. I've been building something behind the scenes. In the shadows. In the silence. While they plotted, I planned. While they schemed, I secured. And now, what I've prepared for you is ready. Not just a blessing, a fulfillment. A divine response to every single tear. Every hidden prayer. Every weary sigh you thought I didn't hear, but I did. And I never stopped listening. I see your heart, tired and tender. I know the weight you carry, even when you hide it behind a smile. You rise every morning with more responsibility than words can explain, yet you keep going. You keep giving. You keep hoping. But child, you don't have to do this alone. I've walked beside you in the silent hours. When no one saw your struggle, I was there. When your prayers were just whispers through tears, I was listening. When your hands trembled from carrying too much, I was holding you up. You are not unseen. You have never been alone. Now I say, bring it to me. Everything. The fear, the doubt, the wounds. Lay it all at my feet. You weren't meant to carry it. Let me lift it. Let me break it off of you. Through prayer, you won't just find answers, you'll find rest. you'll find me. Not far, not angry, not cold, but present. Protective, powerful. I am still your provider. I never stopped being your shield. I never stopped fighting for you. What looks impossible to you is already handled in my hands. You don't need to figure it all out. That's my job. You are called to trust, to lean into me, to rest knowing heaven's armies are already moving in your favor. Even now, my angels are shifting things. My spirit is clearing paths ahead of you. Favor is being assigned. Restoration is already underway. Doors are being unlocked, and no one can shut what I've opened. But hear me clearly, when that door swings wide, don't rush through it with pride. Step through it with reverence. This is not just breakthrough, it's divine alignment. These blessings are not trophies for your effort. They are reflections of my goodness. Yes, you were faithful. Yes, you held on when it hurt. But don't forget, I'm the one who lifted mountains. I'm the one who silenced storms. I'm the one who carried you when you had nothing left. So when the answer shows up, when the blessing fills your hands, don't forget to praise. Not because you earned it, but because I gave it, freely, in love. This is a divine appointment, a holy unveiling, and what you're about to walk into will be a testimony, not of your strength, but of my faithfulness. You are stepping into fulfillment, into answered prayers, into divine provision that's been waiting for this exact moment. So walk in humility, walk in awe, walk with a heart that remembers who opened the door. I open what no man can shut, and I never open without purpose. You see, it was never about your perfection. It was about your surrender. It was your yes, even through trembling lips. It was your faith, even when everything screamed doubt. That is what moved me. That is what stirred heaven. Don't sink into despair. Don't let weariness define who you are. You were never meant to carry this weight alone. I see it, every silent burden, every private struggle, every tear you've wiped when no one else was looking. I see how your heart whispers questions you're too tired to speak aloud. Why is this still so hard? Why hasn't anything changed? When will it finally make sense? And I'm answering you now, not with riddles or delay, but with truth. In time, you will see it all. Nothing you're facing is wasted. Nothing has been ignored. I haven't forgotten you. I haven't passed you by. Everything is unfolding exactly the way it needs to, because what I'm doing in you is too important to rush. This journey was never promised to be easy. The road that leads to my glory was never paved with comfort. You want breakthrough without breaking, peace without pressure, joy without the waiting. But real peace isn't born in calm, it's forged in chaos. True strength doesn't grow in soft places. It grows in fire. When you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like giving up, remember, I'm not letting you go. I'm using every trial to build endurance. I'm allowing every delay to develop depth. The moments that test your patience, the people who stretch your grace, the setbacks that tempt you to give up, they're part of the refining. They are not punishment, they are preparation. I tailor every moment with precision. I don't waste pain. I don't allow battles without purpose. You are not walking someone else's path, because you were never meant to. This path is yours, chosen, designed, marked by my hand, and I walk every step with you. When you stumble, I steady you. When you fall, I lift you. When you're too tired to move, I carry you. You've walked through shadows that others couldn't survive. You've endured losses, betrayals, heartbreaks that tried to break your spirit completely. You've been silenced. You've been abandoned. You've been used. But you didn't give in. You didn't let the pain define you. Even when you questioned me, even when you screamed in frustration, you didn't leave. You clung to me, even if all you could offer was a whisper. And that whisper shook the heavens. That whisper held more power than you realize. Because it wasn't just faith, it was faith under fire. You loved people who didn't love you back. You stayed kind when the world was cruel. You chose light when darkness felt easier. You forgave when vengeance seemed justified. And that choice, that obedience, that's the sound of true worship. That's what moves heaven. I have watched you fight to stay soft in a world that hardened others. I've seen the nights you fell asleep feeling forgotten, only to wake up and try again. And every time you got back up, every time you took one more step, I was there. I counted it. I treasured it. I have not forgotten a single moment. Your scars are not signs of failure, they are proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. Your wounds are not disqualifications, they are evidence that grace carried you through the unthinkable. I have been weaving your broken places into something strong, something sacred, something that will stand when everything else falls. This isn't just restoration, it's resurrection. What's coming next isn't just healing, it's divine reward. I'm lifting you higher. I'm setting you apart. And what I open for you now, no one will be able to steal. The doors I'm unlocking are protected by my hand. The blessings I'm releasing are sealed with my name. So don't stop now. Don't let fatigue blur your vision. Don't let discouragement speak louder than my promises. I'm still writing your story, and what's ahead will silence every doubt. The chapter you're stepping into is not just filled with promise, it's filled with proof. Proof that not a single tear was wasted. Not a single delay was in vain. Not a single sacrifice went unnoticed. This is your turning point. The shift is already happening. You're moving from survival to strength. From confusion to clarity. From waiting to walking. The fulfillment is real, and it's closer than you think. So take a breath, steady your heart. I'm not asking you to be perfect, I'm asking you to keep saying yes. Keep showing up, keep believing, because everything I promised is still on the way. And now, I need you to help others hear this message too. If this word stirred something in your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope. Subscribe so you never miss another message of restoration. And if you want to help us keep creating content that changes lives, you can support us with a super thanks. Every gift up to $20 goes a long way in keeping this mission alive. You matter. Your story matters. And this, right here, is just the beginning of something beautiful.